Hi.
Hello, Ryan and Amy here from Knight's Tales, and we just wanted to share this video of Starved Rock, but also kind of this is our return trip home from the Black Hills area, and we didn't go straight home. We went through Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to go to the Harley Davidson Museum, but that was a bit of a long trip, so we stayed overnight at Round Lake Vineyards and Winery in Round Lake, Minnesota. It was a very nice winery beside the lake.
Beautiful venues for weddings and stuff too.
Yep. And then we made it to Badgerland Campground in Stoughton, Wisconsin. Pretty nice campground. And we visited a cidery in Stoughton called Mershon's Cidery.
It was so good. It was so good. The peach cider tastes like peach nectar. Brian joked that there was a plant there we could transfer to, and I said, it was that life-changing. That cider was really good. We had to go back. It was downtown, and we parked on the main street with our camper as we're leaving the area so I could refill my growler and get gifts. It needs to be in every store in the country. It was so delicious.
It was very good. So then on Saturday, while we were there, we went to the Harley Davidson Museum in Milwaukee, and just a beautiful campus. Unfortunately, it was raining the whole day that we were there, but they have like a 20-acre campus. It's surrounded on three sides with water. Have a restaurant, a venue. I think there might have been a wedding getting ready to happen. But the museum is just amazing. Anybody that likes riding motorcycles, you don't have to be a Harley Davidson fan, I don't think. It's just the history.
Or if you like history, the way it was laid out, World War I and World War II and the Great Depression, and there was just a lot to keep your interest. I'm not a huge museum person or fan, but we were in there for hours, and it went quickly.
I think we spent 5 hours at the museum, total eating and everything. But they also had, it was a Saturday, so there was a Knuckleheads vintage motorcycle group. They were having a show outside, which was pretty cool. And they were riding in the rain. They rode in the rain. They have archives there. They keep at least one motorcycle from every year from 1919 all the way through. I think they have over 300 motorcycles just in their archives.
Yeah, and it's just laid out. I don't know how to explain it, but it just flows to where you can see the first drawings and the first thoughts of how they were going to develop this engine. You could probably talk more about that. And then on the floor they had an outline of so you could see the size of their first shed where they built their first one, and so you could see how cramped it was. And it was just laid out really well.
They have the serial number 1 motorcycle there, and that's where you start through the museum. So the frame was a 1905 frame, so I think that they rebuilt the frame at some point in its life, but most of the engine and drivetrain components have a serial number 1 on them, and it's known to be the oldest Harley Davidson in existence.
So it was during the Great Depression when Harley started playing around with colors and designs, because they didn't have the money to spend to actually engineer new motors, or to spend that money
R&D, research and development, engineering. Yep.
So then they started offering different colors and different logos.
And you can still see that today in their sales and their strategy, where they only offer a color maybe 1 or 2 years, and they'll move on to something, to another color.
And up until the Great Depression, all of the motorcycles there were either green or black.
Yeah, or gray.
Or grayish green, yeah.
So that strategy came in, and basically all the way through the 30s, the motorcycles really didn't change much. It was just colors. So from there, as we left to go on down to Stoughton Rock, we stopped at Milwaukee's Best. We didn't have a big travel day, so we spent some time to get there. We went to Milwaukee's Best Cheese.
Oh, this place was so fun.
Oregon, Wisconsin.
They had you come in and they're like, do you want some wine? And they would give you these free samples of wine, and you walk around and you shop cheese and meats and all this stuff, and then they'll come around and they refill your wine. It was so much fun.
Local beer. They had even samples of some of the local beer as well. So we bought, I think, a 12-pack of a variety pack of Milwaukee beer. And then just a lot of cheese.
We bought cheese.
Quite a bit of cheese, different types of cheese. So on the way to Stoughton Rock, we stopped at DC Estate Winery, and right on the state line. I think it was literally on the state line between Illinois and Wisconsin. Yep.
It was a beautiful winery too. If you picked up on it, we did a lot of wineries on our trip.
Yeah. Right, so we ended up at Stoughton Rock State Park campground, which was good to be back at a state park.
Yeah.
Very shaded, spread out, not like private campgrounds that we've been in that were maybe a little bit closer together.
And I don't know if it's true of Illinois state parks or just that one in particular, but the gate to the campground was locked at 10 p.m. and opened at 8 a.m. You could go out, but you could not come back in.
They actually had one-way spikes that you couldn't come back in, otherwise you'd blow the tires out of the vehicle. So
when we left the campground, I was like, we've got to be back before 10 p.m.
Yeah, that was crazy. We did visit the local town, Utica. On the way in, we saw it was very busy, a lot of motorcycles. That was on a Sunday. We went back in town the next day on Monday, but some of the places were closed. We went to a winery and a tap room. They have Main Street blocked off, seating where you can sit outside.
Very nice.
Really neat town. They had an outpost that was closed. That was closed on Monday. That looked like a biker destination. It's right on the river, so I think you can ride up, and Illinois is pretty flat, but the road that follows the river is pretty curvy, so I expect it's a pretty good riding destination from Peoria up to Utica. So we did some hiking at Stoughton Rock. We started off at Stoughton Rock, which overlooks the river. We did the French Canyon, Wildcat Canyon, and St. Louis Canyon.
And the canyons were neat. I was a little disappointed in the crowds. It was just very crowded for a Monday, and a lot of trash.
Yeah, it was a little disappointing. I think that's just from how popular it is. I would think the weekends would be extremely crowded.
Yeah.
Just the number of people that go through that park. So. was a great trip though, and a good, really great end to our 31 days traveling. So I would recommend it.
We do. We're hiking in Stoughton Rock State Park, getting ready to enter the first canyon. Tables that to have like rockers or something down here.